This structure is known as a way shrine. They were used for meditation and for transport when the chantry was a place of enlightenment. Well, once the initiate's enlightenment was complete, he'd bring the ewer to the chantry's inner sanctum. Pouring the contents of the ewer into the sacred basin of the sanctum would allow him to enter for an audience with the arch-curate himself. I know how it all sounds, but if there was another way, I'd have done it long ago. Once the initiate completed his mantras, he'd dip a ceremonial ewer in the basin at the way shrine's center and proceed to the next way shrine. Prelates of these shrines were charged with teaching the mantras of Auriel to our initiates. Come forward. You have nothing to fear here. It's symbolic. I don't expect you to understand, because that means there's still hope that they might one day shed their hatred and learn to believe in Auriel once again. It's been a long time since I felt that way, and it's been long overdue. My thanks to both of you. A vampire. I see. That would explain much. Deep inside, it brings me joy that the betrayed weren't to blame for what happened here. What? What are you talking about? The restoration of this way shrine means that Verther must be dead, and the betrayed no longer have control over him. So the deed has been done. You risked everything to get Auriel's bow, and in turn, you've restored the chantry. I can't think of a more deserving champion to carry it than you. If you wish to learn more about the bow, or obtain sun-hallowed arrows for it, I'd be more than happy to help. You've but to ask. Caves? Oh no. The chantry encompasses far more than a few caves, as you'll soon discover. But before I send you on your way, you'll need the initiate's ewer. There are 5 in total, spread far apart across the chantry. This may be the last time we're able to converse. If you have any questions before you leave, I suggest you ask them. Otherwise, all I can do now is grant you my hopes for a safe journey. Once you've located a way shrine, there'll be a spectral prelate tending to it. They will allow you to draw the waters from the shrine's basin, as if you've been enlightened. The first lay at the end of Darkfall Passage, a cavern that represents the absence of enlightenment. The only way to get to my brother is by following in the initiate's footsteps, and traveling from way shrine to way shrine, just as they did. For the thousands of years I've served as the chantry's sentinel, there hasn't been a single visitor here for any other reason. They request Auriel's bow, and I request their assistance. It's been repeated so many times, I can't imagine it any other way. I prefer Snow Elf. The name Falmer usually holds a negative meaning to most travelers. Those twisted creatures you call Falmer, I call the betrayed. Absolutely. You could turn around and travel back from wherever you started empty-handed, or you could assist me. I need you to kill Arch-Curate Verther, my brother. Auriel, Alkosh, Akatosh, so many different names for the sovereign of the Snow Elves. I am Knight Paladin Gelebor. Welcome to the great chantry of Auriel. I can help you get it, but first, I must have your assistance. Of course, you're here for Auriel's bow. Why else would you be here? Leaving the way shrines unguarded would be violating my sacred duty as a Knight Paladin of Auriel, and an assault on the betrayed guarding the inner sanctum would only end with my death. The chantry was a place of peaceful worship. I led a small group of paladins, but we were no match for the betrayed's sheer numbers. They slaughtered everyone, and stormed the inner sanctum where I believe they corrupted Verther. He's alive. I've seen him, but something's wrong. He never looks as though he's in pain or under duress. He just stands there and watches, as though waiting. The kinship between us is gone. I don't understand what he's become, but he's no longer the brother I once knew. It was the betrayed. They did something to him. I just don't know why Auriel would allow this to happen. Yes. Let me show you. They swept into the chantry without warning, and began killing everyone without pause. I'm afraid in their current form, they still believe the chantry to be an active center of worship. They won't respond to you in any way other than believing that you're an initiate, and you're undertaking the journey to the inner sanctum. They're ghosts of the snow elf priests that tended the way shrines before being slaughtered by the betrayed. Through the grace of Auriel, they were restored to their spectral form to enable them to continue their duties. This is, or was, the epicenter of our religion. Most of the Snow Elf people worshipped Auriel. The chantry was constructed near the beginning of the First Era to provide a retreat for those that wished to become enlightened. The chantry is quite isolated, so it took some time for word of the dwarves' offer to reach us here. By the time the compact had been completed, it was too late for us to even attempt to intervene. Even with Verther gone, and the inner sanctum destroyed, my duty as a Knight Paladin of Auriel remains. I have been sworn to protect this veil and everything it represents until I die. For the time being, they will remain open. If remnants of our kind who escaped the betrayal at the hands of the dwarfs exist out there, perhaps they will find this place one day. Verther and myself are the only two snow elves that remain. We were once a wealthy and prosperous society that occupied a portion of Skyrim. Unfortunately, we were constantly at war with the Nords, who claimed the land as their ancestral home. Yes, they swarmed the Chantry in vast numbers until we were completely overrun. We never really stood a chance. I assumed that the Archcurate was corrupted by them when they found a way to breach the inner sanctum. Correct. We only numbered perhaps 100 at the time, so our presence remained a secret to the dwarves and the Nords. Ironically, our undoing came at the hands of our own people. I've often asked myself that very same question. The blinding of my race was supposedly accomplished with a toxin, certainly not enough to devolve them into the sad and twisted beings they've become. There were splinter groups that resisted the agreement, and even some that sought alternate alliances. But when it was all said and done, those elves were either slaughtered, vanished, or gave up and took the dwarves' bargain. In a manner of speaking, we had always maintained an uneasy alliance with the underground-dwelling dwarves, and when faced with extinction, we turned to them for help. Surprisingly, they agreed to protect us, but demanded a terrible price: the blinding of our race. Oh yes, they were an important part of the process here. They represented the steps the initiates took on the path to total enlightenment. Sadly, the magic used to construct these wonders were lost long before I arrived here. Our empire had temples to some of the other deities. Trinimac, Ciribane, Yffrey, and Finister rounded out the rest, but those temples paled in comparison to the glory of the Chantry and its way shrines. May Auriel keep you free from harm. May Auriel watch over you. May Auriel light your path. Questions? I expected as much. You've nothing to fear from me. Please, we have much to discuss. Please, take the bow. It's yours. So, the deed has been done. My brother is dead. Perhaps they'll never return to their former appearance. But over the centuries, I've noticed a rise in their intellect. If a line of communication could be established with them, maybe they can find peace. It's the only way they'll discover that they weren't always malignant. They were once a proud and prosperous race. The twisted forms you've seen didn't occur overnight. It isn't a plague or a disease that ravaged our species. The dwarves may have stolen their sight, but it took many generations for them to become what they are today. I feel nothing but sympathy for the betrayed, despite my actions against them. But I'm afraid that they're well beyond a cure at this point. Well, using an arrow with the bow that's been dipped in blood may cause it to function differently, corrupting its purpose. That's, of course, if you're foolish enough to try it. That's actually only a fraction of its potential. With sun-hallowed arrows, you would be able to produce a much more spectacular effect, causing bursts of sunlight to envelop your foes. The sunbursts would certainly hurt anything, but is especially devastating to the undead. For the time being, I will remain here on the Overlook and continue trying to keep the sanctum free of the betrayed. You're always welcome to return here at any time, of course. The bow draws its power from Aetherius itself, channeling it through the sun. Therefore, when an arrow is loosed from the bow, it produces a magical effect very similar to being burned by fire. There's no need for that kind of talk. I said it was possible. It's also quite possible that there are some other isolated conclaves of snow elves nestled elsewhere on Nirn. I'll also assume Verther didn't exactly give you the option to stay your hand. The bow was said to be carried by Auriel himself into battle against the forces of Lorkhan in ancient and mythic times. Its craftsmanship has no equal anywhere within Tamriel, and possibly beyond. I can actually assist you in that regard. If you were to bring me some good quality elven arrows, I could imbue them with the proper incantations and rituals. I'm afraid I'll need elven arrows if you want me to produce the sun-hallowed arrows. And it seems you're all out of them at the moment. Certainly. I can only do 20 at a time, but I see that won't be a problem in this case. Absolutely. I can only do 20 at a time, so if you want the rest of your arrows blessed, let me know. While it would fill me with joy to see the Chantry back to its former glory, that time has long since passed. Now that my brother's dead, it's quite possible I'm the last of our kind. Farewell, friend. May the radiance of Auriel fill your heart with joy. Farewell, friend. May the glow of Auriel shield you from your enemies. Farewell, friend. May the warmth of Auriel provide you strength. Farewell, friend. May the light of Auriel illuminate your darkest hours. If there's assistance I can provide, just ask. It's the least I can do. I trust you're faring well. It's good to speak to you again. If there's anything at all I can help you with, please ask. Perhaps it was nothing after all. I found the infidel. I see you, heathen. I'll find you soon. Where are you? It's only a matter of time. For Auriel! Die, heathen! Begone, foul creature! I cast you out! Let Auriel smite you with his wrath! Back, godless beast! Back to the darkness with you! How dare you profane this place? Auriel, save me! I failed you, my lord! Forgive me, Auriel! My time has come! I cast you to oblivion! I absolve you of your sins! Auriel forgives you! Your deception is useless. I'll find you. Why hide? Face Auriel! Face your end! Where did you go? No! Another time, perhaps. Leave this place. Your time is at an end. I will erase you from existence. Your time will come. Come, infidel. Meet your end. I won't let you defile this place, foul being. Auriel, give me strength to smite my foe. I will send you back to the shadows. Step from the shadows, defiler. What was that? May the light of Auriel cleanse your soul. Your death will be my gift to Auriel. You will not leave this valley alive. Death to those who defile the chantry. A swift death is all you deserve.